Hey everyone, in this episode we're going to talk about Disney Pixar's newest film, Incredibles 2. We're going to talk about everything from the cast, the animation, the storyline, and we're going to give you our thoughts on if we felt it was worth the wait. This is episode 50 of the Reel-ists Podcast. Hello, listeners. I am Donnie.
And I am Mr. Incredible Oscar.
And we have our incredible producer, Ruben.
Hello.
And this is the Reel-ists Podcast.
The Incredible Reel-ists Podcast.
All right. No. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before we get started on this episode, just wanted to give you guys a couple of quick reminders to check us out on Thursdays. That's when we put out our newest episodes. And if you guys could please share us with everyone you know. Don't stop spreading the word about the Reel-ists Podcast. We really do appreciate it. If this is your first time listening, we want to say welcome and thank you for choosing us to listen to. We know there's so many podcasts out there, but the fact that you're listening to this one is awesome. And just to remind everyone what we do here, we discuss films and talk about how certain scenes of those films tie into real life, from a realistic standpoint. So that's like our main stamp. But we talk about a lot more than that, I'd say. But anyways, thank you once again for tuning in. And you can find us on anywhere the podcasts are available. And don't forget to check us out on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Team Reel-ists, Team Reel-ists, no dash. Always feel free to drop us a comment, leave us a remark, connect with us in some kind of way. We appreciate it. We'll take it. And I think that's pretty much it, right?
I think so. I think that covers our appreciation for everyone, yeah.
Yeah, we really do appreciate you listeners. And we'd appreciate if we had more.
Right, exactly. Yes. Don't forget to spread. It's not hard. It's just wait. Did something I said? Did I say it wrong?
Don't forget to spread the word. Let's spread the word, guys. It's not hard.
Okay. All right. This is a family movie, guys.
Exactly. Keep it G.
That was not
you may have
intentional.
children listening to this one, Oscar. Jesus.
I mean, it's not like I didn't set it up or anything. You guys started laughing.
All right. Well, thank you very much. So this is, hello, big news. This is our 50th episode.
Yes.
This is our 50th episode. That's insane. We finally got, we
were going to get here, but
we were going to get here,
but it's been a
halfway to
25
100.
weeks.
It has.
It's been
25
weeks. It's our 25th week anniversary.
That's awesome. Well, here's to another 50 more. I'm saying here's like I'm cheersing to you guys. Pick up your water bottles, guys. Ching, cling, ching, cling. Here's to another 50.
Yes.
Awesome.
And that just goes back to the appreciation for everyone that's listened to us for 50 episodes. If you've listened from episode 1, awesome. That is incredible. We really
no pun intended.
We wish we you can let us know. That way we can, maybe send you a magnet or something. We'd love to show you the appreciation back. Let us know if you have listened to all 50 episodes. If you haven't, go listen to them and then say you listen to them.
There's time. Yeah, you can still do it. It's if you haven't done
We're
it,
not saying
then
by this mark, as of today, you have to have listened. If that's a lot of episodes, so that's a lot of your time. So we really appreciate you considering us for that hour of your time to be able to just listen to a review of a movie. So
yeah, well said, Oscar. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to talk about this film because it's been 14 years since the first one. Although, let me admit, I didn't wait 14 years for it. I'm gonna tell on myself.
As his disclaimer was in the quick review.
Yeah, right. The quick review posted on Instagram. I said there too that I saw the first Incredibles film about
4 days.
About 4 days ago.
5 today.
But... today, 5 days ago. But there was only like a 3-day gap between seeing the first one and seeing the second one. So when I got to the theater and they're like, thank you for waiting 14 years. And and then you like pointed to like, he didn't wait 14 years. I was like, dang, just busting me out.
Ain't nobody looking at us. They're ready for They were waiting 14 years. You think they were going to give 2 seconds of us?
Right.
That was hilarious, though. I really was like, I get what they were going for in that they were trying to kind of cover that it took a long time for a sequel, but it does not take an exact 14 years for a movie to be made.
No.
It does take a good 4 or 5 years, especially for animation, but...
Yeah. No, they knew that they were... I don't know what was going on behind the scenes. Obviously, there was something going on.
The biggest thing was Brad
long.
Bird. Brad Bird was not ready for the sequel. Like, he either was coming up with a story that he didn't feel it was good yet, or he had other commitments, like his Mission Impossible, Tomorrowland. So he had other commitments he was trying to get going.
I really liked Tomorrowland. Not to get sidetracked, but...
Did it?
No, I really did like Tomorrowland.
I didn't give it the full watch. I remember my family was seeing it, and I was tuning in, but I was not really interested.
Dang.
I really wanted to like it.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. If you like the fact that, because the Tomorrowland and A Wrinkle in Time get very similar, comparisons. But
are you serious?
They kind of do.
Dang.
I'm just saying,
I'm just like, because I don't.
I'd rather watch Tomorrowland.
I'd rather watch Tomorrowland. I'd way rather watch Tomorrowland than.
Well, I guess that's just more to hats due to Brad Bird making it at least.
But you know what? Sorry, sidetrack. But I found out that I was trying to figure out when the movie takes place for The Incredibles. And apparently, it's supposed
the 60s,
to be
right?
The 60s.
Yeah.
But a future version from the 60s. So how the future was imagined in the 60s, which is basically kind of how the original Tomorrowland was, which again, didn't Brad Bird make Tomorrowland?
He did.
So he has some kind of, he does like Tomorrowland, like the Disney kind of.
He likes Disney's retro future, which just doesn't make sense.
Well, it's retro now.
Disney's idea back then of what the future would be.
Right.
Yeah. I get it.
Which, speaking of which, just as a side note that I
this whole episode's gonna be side notes. One more side note.
One more side note. They are starting to make plans to revamp Tomorrowland at Disney World, not at Disneyland yet, but Disney World.
Oscar, that ain't got nothing to do with this podcast.
He said Tomorrowland, and that came to mind that they are Disney is now looking into upgrading Tomorrowland, so now it's gonna be more a modern touch.
So is it gonna? So it'll be okay. So, but still futuristic,
right?
Like what our idea of the future will be.
But see, do we have an idea of the future?
Not.
I feel like the future is now, and it's always changing.
What a statement!
That's so deep. The future is now.
There is no tomorrow without today.
So philosophical.
Not necessarily what we think. Not what we think of the future. I think it's more of just recognizing where we are with technology and the possibilities that can still happen. So the Carousel of Progress, for example, that one is outdated. The ending is outdated. The ending is the early 90s with the big phone still and all that stuff. Where now it would be more
pulling out the big brick with the antenna.
Where now it would be more of maybe a hologram or something that's still possibility in our future.
Right.
But yeah, it's just that kind of minor touch. Just wanted to update.
Awesome.
But before we do Incredibles 2, I feel like it's only fair to do the short film.
Yes.
That's what Disney does.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
I like it.
We're one brain right now.
Boom. Well, I don't know what your thoughts are on that. Well, I kind of do because we talked about it already. But.
What did you think of? Okay, yeah. So what did you guys think about the short?
I really
bao, right?
Bao.
Which is a food thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a food.
Like a pork bao.
Pork bao, yeah. Which are really delicious. I don't know if you've had them,
I've
but they're
had
tasty.
Them, but
you don't like them?
I'm at the Food and Wine Festival.
I mean, I don't know if I can't blame necessarily the food itself, but I did get sick the next day. But there was a lot of things.
Oh, you went to dim sum, huh? Dim sum,
yeah,
and got sick that one time. Okay.
But in the defense, I did have a lot of other things in addition, so I don't know. But the short film.
I did also eat chicken that was sitting out for 6 hours, but
no, well, unless that was the restaurant, because not me, I did not do that. No, the short film was really, really, really good. I liked the story that it was going for. I had asked you earlier of what the reason? I'm making it sound like you created it, but what was the reason of using the food as a metaphor for the sun?
So let me just explain my vision behind this.
That was the only thing that I'm still trying to understand. I appreciate the story. I appreciate what they were saying in terms of how it is for a mother to go through the steps of a child evolution or growth, but I really just want to know, why was it food? Like, why couldn't it have been any other object? What was it about the food? And we try to come up with reasons. We're kind of like, maybe it's a culture aspect, or they're trying to say, but I was like, there was nothing else about the story that was like very tied to a specific culture. So that's why I was just like, I really would just need that answer. That's the only thing that's holding me back about making this a 10 out of 10 kind of short film, was that I didn't get that message. And I don't know, maybe there was no message in that sense. Maybe they just needed a metaphor, and the creator really liked the food, so she used that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if we did our research, I'm sure we could find the answer to why they chose to.
Is it the process of how you create one? Maybe it takes
time. It takes a lot of time and effort to shape and mold each one, and maybe that was kind of
But I really,
the parallel there.
I really did enjoy, because I said it in my head when I was watching it, when it started to act up and it was leaving and it was going with the girl, and I was like, if you're getting upset, you better eat that power.
And that shocked me when she ate it. I gasped. I was like, nah.
I was like, yes.
Like, I felt like I should
show
have
him
looked
who's
away.
Boss. Show that food.
It's a little malicious, don't you? I mean, that's like, you spend all this time raising it, and then you're just gonna eat it. You're just gonna eat it and digest it.
It wasn't listening. It was like a robot. If it was a robot, you got to shut it down if it decides to do its own thing.
Yep. It definitely like, I liked that it's like it kind of mimicked the development of from going from child to adult, like very cute, sweet, as soon as we saw it kind of growing and
getting interested and curious about the
and
world,
it was cute, and we were interested, and then we saw it getting attitude and going to its room and slamming the door, and we're like, oh, you are a teenager right now. And I don't know, I thought it was clever, and I don't entirely understand why they chose, like we said, to use that as a. Maybe it was the creator, maybe that was one of his childhood foods that he grew up on,
Right, which definitely would be fine. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form it's a bad idea. I just would wish that there was some clarification in the short itself to kind of explain that.
Maybe that was the son's favorite food.
Right, exactly. It's very possible. But there was no... Because in the end, they didn't eat that. They ate whatever, donut thing it was. They didn't eat bao. They just had donut. Or whatever that was. Whatever dessert that was.
Have donuts.
So it was...
They should have had a bao. They should have eaten
Then
those.
that would have made
sense. That would have been the
Yeah.
cherry on top.
Yeah, because then it would have...
Then it would have came full circle.
But it was still great. I really did like the story.
Yeah. You liked it too, Ruben? I mean, you thought it was weird, I know,
I thought
but...
it was weird, yeah.
That's all, that's all I'm saying.
I'm here for Incredibles 2. Right. I don't got time for this.
Once you guys get on the real movie, I'll start talking.
No, I'm just noticing you can't really hear me on here, so that's why I'm like...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't really say much.
Well, that is something, actually. We're getting a lot of live tweets right now. They're saying, I can't hear Ruben. Speak up. That's something we should look into.
Okay.
Well, I'm just gonna be here. No, one thing that I didn't notice, but my sister did, was that she said that the mom was ignored. She's like, everybody ignored the mom, which is kind of true, because how it starts off with the dad and he eats his food real fast and he leaves and she's just by herself. So that kind of made me think too. That kind of made me think too, maybe that whole, I don't know. Again, it doesn't really tell you why she used the bow, but at least it kind of gives you a reason as to why it took that course of her having the whole montage with the bow.
I get it in the sense that, yes, the story is, at this point in their lives, their son has grown up, and at this point their lives have kind of gone stale to some extent, where it's not interesting anymore, because it's just become a normal routine. If he goes to work, she stays home. I'm assuming she stays home. They didn't elaborate, but it's that kind of point in life where it's now you look back at, it's I remember when I had to raise a kid, when I had to, take him to school, and I had to take him to soccer practice. I definitely understand that it was a reflection moment for her to kind of reflect back on the life she had with her son at the house. But it's just more of what this story still would have been the same had it been any object. As of right now, any object it could have been.
Yeah.
It could have been her, a toy. It could have been, her imagination. It could have been anything that would have still carried the same message. So it's just more of like what about the bow was the reason that it was chosen.
I mean, yeah, I guess they were just wanting to tie it back to like some cultural relevance
which
there.
I'm assuming. I mean, I didn't look into the credits or anything, but I can assume that maybe the creator is like it's a favorite food, or his or her favorite food. So I can.
What is bao? Is it Chinese? Is it?
I think it's a steamed bun.
No, I mean like what like what does it come like? Is it a Chinese dish? Is it a Korean dish? Is it
I think it's Chinese.
Okay.
I just see food, Donnie. I don't see.
I don't. Yeah, I know. Why do we have to label? Put
I don't see
on?
origins. Well,
I think it's only fair to do this. Final real score for the short.
Oh my god. Are we doing out of 5? I feel like we should do out of 2.5 since it's a short film.
For a short. I mean, you like look at a criteria for like
right, which is hard.
Short.
I will say 4 out of 5. I will say 4 out of 5 then.
Okay. I would say that too. Like I thought it was really. It was I don't like to use this word, but it was cute. Like it was a cute film, and it had it's sentiment, and it had and it kind of reflects on the stage of what happens when you grow up or when you parent something. Or
maybe it's because we're not parents that we don't get that angle. We understand it, but maybe we don't. It doesn't connect to us that way. Like maybe if we were like a mom or dad, we can be like that was a 5 out of 5 because
I feel like I connected to it. I feel like I got it. Like I don't know. What do you think?
What's my score?
Yeah.
What's Ruben's score?
I would give it like a 3.5.
3.5.
All right.
Okay.
A little more harsh, but no, I was gonna.
No, I just.
It didn't connect.
No, it didn't. It didn't connect, and then it just didn't connect. It ended off on a really good note. I think that was the most heartfelt part was the son
coming back,
they're crying and eating their little donuts. But through the whole thing, it was just kind of like. It was funny, but it was just weird.
It was a little hard. It was a little hard to watch too, making it believable that the food is going through all these like stuffs of like how can a food eat another food? Is that like
facial hair and then it wears
glasses, I know, and then it goes out.
It never gets squished.
Right, exactly. Well, it did get squished, but you just
she kind of like shaped it and remolded it.
Yeah.
And you have your
and
own
stuffed
room.
it with more filling.
And you have
What did your husband say? They have a little bow.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like then that's. But yeah, okay. So that was that's our score of bow. Yeah. You have to see it if you go see Incredibles 2. There's no way.
There's no way unless you just decide to like show up like 35 minutes late or something. But to this day, I will say, and then we'll move on to the actual film.
Side note.
Side note. I want to say for the record that Lava is still the best short ever of all time, and
really,
yeah,
he loves.
No, it is. No, I'm telling you, Lava is the best short of all time. I mean, honestly, I could watch. Like, I enjoy it just as much as the Pixar movies. Like, it's not a short to me. This is not a game. It's amazing. You didn't like it? You didn't connect with it? I almost cried when I saw it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It moved me that much.
Presto was really good.
Right?
Did I see that one?
No, it's in the time frame where you didn't see the Pixar movie.
There was like a stretch of Pixar films that I didn't see.
Yeah.
From age 11 to 14.
Maybe you should hold off on that. Yeah, well, you did say it up to date. You did. I was gonna say maybe you should hold off on claiming it the best, but you did say up to date as of right now.
As of right now, yeah.
Yes. Asterisk has not.
And then the one for Incredibles,
Bounden.
Bounden?
Yes.
That was a good one.
What was that?
And then like I said, I did this.
The sheep that
that got shaved, and like all the animals were laughing at it.
But
the
American, what was it, antelope or something like that? Some kind of animal comes back and like gives it its like positive message.
Yeah, it gives it like its spirit back.
Like
like
who
it
cares
doesn't
where people look at you and
Such
just
a
do
good
what
message.
you want to do and be proud, and you go bound and bound.
Okay, gonna like sing it word for word.
But no, that one was a good one as well. I mean, Presto, I like Lifted. I don't know. It's tough to say.
We're getting on a rant here.
it's tough to say with Pixar shorts because it's so short that it's like it either clicks with you or it just doesn't click with you. Like you either like something like it, like you just loved about it, or it just you appreciate it. It's really hard to say. But.
Yeah. Oh, and I love, since we're on the subject, I loved the one for Finding Dory. I never forget I never remember the name. The one with the little bird, sandpiper.
Piper.
Right? Piper. That was a really good one too. You remember that one?
Right, yeah.
Huh?
Really? Sorry, I was more.
Ruben was giving Donnie that I don't know.
I don't know about that one. I like that one, man. Pixar does good shorts. I feel.
And there's a few that you haven't seen. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to see I'm obviously to see the movies, but to see the shorts too, the ones that I've never seen.
That's actually pretty exciting. That there's a list. Yeah, the collection, yes, but we're going by the movies. We watch it with the movies. We're going to Cars. Cars is next.
Haven't seen that one.
He hasn't seen Cars. He hasn't seen any of the Cars.
Did you guys watch Ratatouille?
No, that's after Cars.
Tell me when you watch that, because I want to watch it.
Okay.
We will.
Noted.
Well,
all right.
Seen it, but anyway.
Back to Incredibles.
To the main course.
To the main film. Incredibles. Oscar. Well, you waited. You saw it when it first came out, right?
Yes.
So you literally had to wait 14 years for this one.
And I kind of did not think about it for 10 of those 14
okay.
years.
Well, thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your candor.
No, I mean, it's true, though, because it was when it came out, yes, it was big. I loved it. Then maybe the next 2 years, it was still relevant to some extent. And then at that point, it became okay, I'm not seeing any sequel. There's no talk about it. I mean, mind you, I was young, too, so it was not the only thing I was thinking about. But so it was kind of that thing where it was I just phased out of it, if you want to say, so to speak. And the same way they had your favorite childhood show or something like that you just stopped watching, Nickelodeon and Disney Channel, and you started moving on to the other kind of contents. So it was just that kind of there's no point to continue remembering outside of you've seen it and it's a good movie.
What is that earlier?
Oh my God, the Sprite!
I just came back in my head.
Getting R-rated.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why it went out of my mind for 10 years, because I think the only times it came up was when there was Disney talk, or it was at the parks, or it was a Pixar topic. That's the only times it came in mind. But I did not intentionally go rewatch it in 2008 and then again 2012 and 2013. It didn't become relevant until it was announced 2 years ago, and that's when it kind of became in my head.
Okay, so let's say that it was in your head for 14 years, and you were I can't wait for the sequel. Oh, gosh.
I mean, it still had that still had the same feelings.
So was it worth the wait? I guess is my question.
That's a tough one. I will say it was, because it was a great movie. It picks up exactly where it left off, so it does give you that feeling that, yes, this is a spoiler discussion, but it does give you that feeling that it's The Incredibles, the first one still, and you just got this extended director's cut kind of feeling, to at least for me. So that's what I really liked about it. It did not feel like it's been 14 years later, and I think that could be both the way the plot was set up, continuing from the first one. And also the character and the animation was the exact same. Obviously improved, but the exact same. So it's not like they didn't take a different approach, or they try to make it even more realistic. It really kept that same feel for the animation. So it was worth the wait that we got a great movie, and it didn't feel like we missed anything. So I would say yes. To answer the question, it was worth the wait, because we wanted a sequel. But we also, as fans, we didn't know what exactly the sequel could be. We can fan fiction, but I think they did the right job.
Yeah.
Due to that time.
They could have been they could have.
14 years later.
Yeah. And Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl could have been retiring.
Yeah.
And, Violet and what's the son's name?
Dash.
Dash. It could have been grown up with, having kids or being married or something.
Exactly.
Could have gone a different, anyway.
And at that point, you could have been I don't know if it was worth the wait, because now, the characters are not the same of what I remember them as.
Right. Yeah. So I'm glad they took this approach. I definitely agree. I feel it was worth the wait, the 3-day wait that I had. No, I thought it was I was really excited after seeing the first one. I really was, because I wasn't sure, I don't know. I mean, how old were we when the first one came out?
It was 2004.
So I was I think.
So minus 14 years. So you were about 12.
I can't do math.
You were 12.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I wasn't into animated films. I was too cool or something. I thought I was.
What a teenager.
I know.
Exactly just like Bao. You're just like Bao.
Seriously. You're just like your father. But no, I definitely got excited when I saw the first one, and it just amped me up for the second one. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but it picked up exactly where it left off, which I thought was cool. And for me, it was really cool because it's like I saw one, and then 3 days later, it was like kind of episodic in a way. Like I was like, that's what it felt like. So that was really nice. I thought it was just I loved it. I thought it was really, really good. By the end of the episode, I'll let you know if I liked the second one more than the first one or not.
Look at you putting a little thread.
Yeah, so stick around to the end to hear my answer, and Oscar's answer, and Ruben's answer. But I thought it was solid. I liked it.
It was really good. I really liked it. There was, again, I hesitate because there are things that I was like, okay, what do you bring to the table given that you're kind of continuing off, given that we know where the characters are at from the first one. It's not like they can kind of completely give them 180 twist of like, now Dash is complete opposite of who he was in the first one. Like you really couldn't do that. So you really had to continue it. And I feel like this movie was not a plot driven story. Like the main story was not the focus of the movie. It was really just the family that you got to see again and you got to enjoy in their own little storyline. Like Dash was in school. He didn't have much. I will say he was the least family member that got attention. Mr. Incredible was about being a father. Violet was about her crush. Jack was about developing his powers. So it really was more of like B storylines than a main storyline where they all had to get together. Kind of like how the first one was.
And then Elastigirl was obviously she's working this new job and
exactly she was being the big hero in the public. So it was kind of that moment where like the first one was plot story driven, where it's like the family has to stop this bad guy who is trying to say like he's the greatest hero now because he's the only hero or something like that because he killed all the other ones. That's a spoiler to the first one. You have 14 years to catch up.
Right.
So, yeah, that was very plot-driven that you got opportunities to learn about the characters in their situation. This one was more about learning about their characters in just their ordinary life and what they go through on a daily routine. So that was nice. But it was no story to really say, like, that was the greatest story ever told.
Right.
It's kind of more of, like, that was the greatest follow-up to the family that I ever got.
Yeah. I think it was just, for sure it was just about, like, enjoying the characters and just kind of, like, getting more of, like, their own, kind of day-to-day and what they're going through personally, which was nice. Like, I didn't mind it. I didn't, like, hate that.
Exactly. It wasn't bad. It was just, it's hard to grade the movie compared to, like, other movies that are mostly plot-driven. That you have like, and you just even look at Pixar films, like Finding Nemo was about getting to his son. Toy Story, was about getting away from Sid. Like all these had plot driven stories. This one was not really plot driven, and it was character driven. Mm-hmm. So that was really nice. It was really nice about that change of pace, but at that same time, it makes it harder to compare as to like, is this a great overall movie? It's enjoyable, absolutely enjoyable. But is it a great movie? I'm just saying, just bringing questions up.
Okay. Right.
For our listeners.
Getting our pots simmering there, I see. What did you think? I wanted to ask you about the villain. And I think all of us kind of collectively said this, like, right off the bat, we knew something was fishy.
With the new characters.
With the new characters. Well, as soon as you bring in new characters, we're like, okay, our guards are up because we don't know if you're good or bad.
Exactly.
And so Elastigirl they were approached by this company, run by this brother and sister. They were, multimillionaires, had power, access, things like that. And so they were wanting to basically use Elastigirl as like this public figure so that they can legalize superheroes again. And as soon as the brother and sister came on screen, I knew they were going to be the villains. I just knew it. Maybe, I don't know if like I'd like to like get a little kid's opinion and be like, hey, little kid, did you know when these two came on screen that they were going to be the villains, or were you shocked and surprised?
So we sent out Donnie with the mic and check out our YouTube. I feel like that's what we just like. We should actually do that. That'd actually be really fun. Yeah, like get a mic, get a camera, and go ask like little kids at the theaters what they thought of the movie coming out. Any like kid friendly film, but
Yeah, I mean, but then that's a whole legal thing, and you have to get
you have to get
parent approval,
agreements.
And then
you gotta get signatures that we can release that video and use their figure and a likeness and appearance. Yeah, it's more work, but it's a fun thought.
Okay, yeah.
Just you saying I want to ask a kid kind of brought that little segment of like that'd be a fun segment,
right?
Movies with Donnie.
Maybe you should do it. I mean, I'm probably to like a little 6-year-old little kid. I look like a big monster.
Oh
like,
my god!
You're like a friendlier face. But anyways, yeah, the villain. So yeah, exactly. I knew they were villainous. I knew they were going to be tied. I didn't know if it was going to be just a brother, just a sister, or both. But I knew it was going to be one of those three. What did you? It ended up being the sister.
And it being the sister, which was a surprise that it wasn't both. That was my surprise. It was not both. I really thought it was going to be both. That he was doing it just to get more money, to kind of be like, oh, now I can make more money off of like, insurance claims, whatever. And she was the reason that was setting up these danger situations. But yeah, it would just happen to be her.
So they kind of went with the whole like their parents were killed. I guess
from the superheroes not being able to save them.
Yeah, so from the trust that the parents had in the superheroes and not in the safe room or whatever they had access to, like the security that they had. They instead tried like put all their trust in the superheroes, which I guess ultimately is what got them killed. So the sister was harboring some like bitterness and resentment over that,
but it wasn't even the heroes' fault. It was the government that banned heroes. The heroes would have been there had they not.
Like it wasn't their fault, but she blames the heroes, right?
Yes.
She like put all the blame on them, even though they had to hide because
he was reliant on them.
Yes. Because he was reliant.
So that was like her whole motive, like what drove her to do all of this, which I was like, I don't know. I guess it made sense, but I was just like, it wasn't the superheroes' faults. Like I don't understand how she could put all the blame on the superheroes when they're living in a society where they are banned and they have to hide.
Exactly.
Or try to live amongst people.
That's the tough part of trying to understand this villain's reason. Because I mean, you can even argue that the government was the one that she should have been like exploiting and being like, the government actually doesn't even try to save anyone. It's not just our heroes, but anyone. But yeah, it was just more of like, I want to get revenge on the heroes for not being there to save my dad.
I think she was just trying to assign blame and then saying that, basically, like she was saying, by having superheroes, it made us weaker because now we rely on them to help you, and then when they're gone, then they can't help you, and now you're weaker.
Yeah.
And she was just like bitter about it.
But I mean, to be real,
I feel like you could say that about anything.
To be real,
we could be like, technology makes us stupider, so try to ban technology.
Stupid.
Was that stupid to say?
But like that's the problem with that too. It's just, I understand you may have a personal opinion about it, like that's different than the common word. But if there are superheroes in the world, there's going to be people that are going to want to do bad things with those powers, naturally. Just in the same way that there's going to be weapons that someone's going to grab and not use for defense and actually use for
when power
offense.
Falls into the wrong hands.
Exactly. Yeah. So with that being said, it's kind of just the natural balance. Like, it has to be there. I get that, the reliance on superheroes is not something that everyone should rely on in a dangerous situation. Like, if intruder comes to your house, do not wait for, a superhero in this world to come save you. Prepare yourself, hide and, go in the safe room, whatever you have. So I can understand maybe that could have been like her hatred that her dad did not do that, and she doesn't know how to let go of that or how to process that he was so reliant. But to kind of be like, let me exploit superheroes even more was not the way to go.
Yeah.
So terrible villain plot twists. I don't know.
I hated her. She was so just like, I mean, I guess all villains are. I was gonna say she was just so not evil, but like what was the word I was gonna say? Like, just like where she like she fakes you out, she acts like she's on your side, and then she's not.
But question: what was the villain's? What is it called? What was the name of the villain?
Screen Slayer.
What was his purpose? What was he trying to do? I mean, he tried to kill that ambassador lady, right?
Yes.
But it wasn't Screenslayer wasn't one person. Screenslayer was her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
but
she was
to everybody else. It was just one guy.
Right.
So what was that guy's? What was his goal? To like, what were they thinking he was after?
I think.
Well, no. I mean, she set him up. She
kind of used him as like a puppet.
Yes.
So I can think it was to just give face to this evil that's out there to kind of lead the superheroes on the wrong track, kind of, right?
Yes, it was more about saying, oh look, there's a bad guy running around, we need a superhero to save him.
Yeah, so it was to kind of like lure them in, and then.
So there was no master plan. He was just doing bad things.
He was just doing bad things because he was just being controlled by her.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, he didn't have like a motive or anything. She was just this was like a chess game, you know. Yeah. Like she really was like masterminding this whole thing.
And she even says that, you know, this person that she saw just fit that description that she thought of for this idea. So
yeah, that sucked.
That villain. But let's talk about the real stuff in this. Jack was the best.
Oh dang!
Jack,
you just went right to it. I mean, I was gonna try to warm us up there, but you just was like rip the Band-Aid off. Yes, Jack, I think stole the show for a lot of people. He was obviously. I mean, animated babies are just like. It's hard to find something cuter than those. Mm-hmm. Animated babies are just so cute. And Jack had
it was just his powers was that like just took it to another level though, because
he had so many powers. He had 17, right?
Yeah, but his like triggers were like cookies and not getting what he wanted. But it was just the fight with the raccoon. That scene was a scene stealer. That was one of the best.
And he got a lot of screen time,
just as much as like Elastigirl, Mr. Incredible.
Yeah, he really did. Which I'm glad they did that. Obviously, like I think they knew he was gonna be a lot of the favorites. I'm sure when they tested it with audiences, everybody loved it.
And I'm sure like the first one as well. When you found out he did have powers at
the end. Yeah.
Then it became like, ooh, Jack, because he had a short Jack Attacks, where you actually get to see the babysitter's progress of like what she went through while she was trying to take care of Jack, and he was using his powers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so that was
a short for a Pixar film, or just a short that was.
It was a short that was made for the release of the DVD. Which it didn't come to mind to watch it. I don't know why when we saw Incredibles. It should have been something I should have brought forward because it's. I don't know if you remember in the first Incredibles when she's on the phone and she's hearing the voicemails of the babysitter.
Yep.
That's exactly what we're seeing. We're just seeing those things play out of like why she's like kind of like I don't know what's going on. Jack's behaving a little. It's like those.
So it's just we're seeing it.
We're seeing it. Yeah.
Genius.
Which is him getting his powers and fully. But yeah, he was a scene stealer. I loved his raccoon scene, his Edna mode moments.
Yeah. I wish she was in the film more.
Yeah, she would have been nice.
She's a character. She's hilarious.
It was tough because the costumes were already made, so it's kind of tough for her to really have it.
I know.
Yeah, it would have been.
I thought they were gonna bring it back at the end, and then they were going to she was gonna redo their costumes to bring them like more updated. And I thought maybe that's how they were gonna bring
more
it back
updated. Again. This was just like a few days ago that she created them.
It was still at the same time period.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot.
He was like, I know it's like past continuing from the first one, but it's been 14 years.
That was something that did feel like it was 14 years because I didn't think about that in that timeline. It was only a couple of days before.
That's funny.
Man.
Yeah, but for sure, yeah, she was. I mean, Jack, darling. She's just so fabulous. I also really like Dash too. Like, I mean, and I wish he would. I mean, they could only do so much. I mean, his whole thing was like he was struggling with math and all that. But like, I really like him just as a character.
His speed. He definitely was more of a humor for this film. Not always humor, but he definitely provided a lot more humor moments.
Yeah.
With his math and the with his dad.
I loved that whole like, why would they change math? And he's like, no, they want us to do it this way. I think that's something for sure they were like trying to get the parents to laugh on that one because that is how it is. Like now they teach you to do math differently, and parents are like scratching their heads everywhere. Like what? This like
not how I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really appreciate that they threw that in, and I think they knew that they would get a good response from the older audience that were taking their kids to see this.
The ones that are now 28 and have kids because they were 14 when they saw the movie?
I mean, no, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying like any adult that sees this film.
Cause I could see that being, I could totally see that.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, totally, for sure.
I'm 28. I have, a kid that's 7 that's going through pre-algebra. Well, I think that's too early. Wait a minute. That's a little too early.
What country are they going to school in?
Math 1. I don't know. What do they call it? Like middle school math. What's middle school math called?
Isn't it just like arithmetic?
Isn't 7-year-old you're barely in?
Yeah, they're like in second grade.
I guess
they're in second grade. Anymore. What's second grade math?
I don't know. Ruben, look it up. No. We're learning like times tables then.
Exactly.
Yeah, but all the characters were great. I mean, and I liked all the. I mean, I know with Dash it was just the math thing. With Violet, she was crushing on this guy
who got his memory wiped.
Right. Which was like, I felt bad. I really did feel bad because it seemed like he didn't know who she was, and then she was like, she thought that he was just trying to ignore her.
Yeah.
Because he was like freaked out or something, and I felt so bad, and I was like, please find out that his memory got erased so that you can know that he's not trying to be like a jerk to you. He's just doesn't remember. So I was glad, like, once it came out that memory was erased, then she was like,
I loved the dining scene, the diner scene, should I say, with them with the dad trying to hook him up,
and then she
that was and Dash being like kind of like in on it with his dad in the sense of just like trying to play with it still and be like, this was a great experience, blah blah blah, and all that fun jokes. That was fun. It was a very fun family to watch for their own storylines, for certain.
But you had some problems with the film.
I did. Is that what we're leading to?
Go
I
ahead.
just want to make sure I don't.
Yeah, I'm giving you the floor. Yeah.
Yes.
Tell them what you told me that night after we saw it.
Wasn't even like that. I mean, we kind of covered the villain, so I won't go into that. And I kind of covered the. I think I already said the negatives.
What you said was.
Which one? Refresh it, and I'm sure I can go into it.
Dang. You were saying that you wish you were saying that the family didn't fight as a family till the end.
Yes. Carrying off from the first one, where we learned that they were a family of heroes, and at the end of the first one, it does give you that indication that they're going to be a family that solves the villain, that stops the villains and solves crimes. And it abandoned that. It completely abandoned that whole plot where it carried off. It was kind of just like, just kidding, there's a sequel, so we have to kind of not have them together until the very end, where it just happened to be convenient, where they needed to be together to save the day.
Right.
Shouldn't they have been together from the beginning of the movie? I mean, I get like the plot of like we need to get the public to appreciate heroes, so we need one hero, but they could have still been together. Like Elastigirl didn't have to be on her own. The family could have been with her at that, with wherever the location was.
Yeah,
it's not like the family was always going to be like running off with her. And in case if they needed to, that would have been nice to know that it's a family that's saving the world and not just one person, which can show you that the public would be like, oh, look, it's a family. Although it can raise a question about, like, should your kids be in danger? That's another story. I just thought about that. That would be a very big public.
It's getting into some ethics and
right. That would be a very
another debate.
But if you have superpowers, it's kind of hard to be like, you shouldn't follow like a non-superhero life.
But then it's like, just because I was born with powers, does that mean I have to like use them, or I have to? What if I don't want that life for myself?
So I can see Violet not wanting to use it. She kind of did have that feeling in the first one, but she accepted her powers at the end, which is why she had the confidence to talk to Tony.
Yeah.
Dash was able to kind of get a mixture of like, I can use it to some extent, but maybe not too much, to be able to still play sports and feel involved.
Right.
But I just feel like the movie kind of just left that progress. It didn't abandon it in the sense that, they didn't learn still. It's like they completely abandoned the whole family hero dynamic until the very end, when it was convenient for them to be together to save the day. You could easily have made that ending without them having to be together. Like Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl could have been just the two of them and saved the day. like Dash and Violet were forced into saving the day than they really.
But I liked that they were like, I liked that it was left to them, to those two, and they're, you know, they're kids and they're young, but like they were able to step up and do something, you know. Well, I mean, they have superpowers, so I can't say like do something most kids wouldn't do, because most kids don't have superpowers. But they stepped up and kind of like, you know, okay, we have to do this. Like, mom and dad are in trouble. It's just up to us now. And Violet kind of said that to her brother, to Dash. And I liked that because it gave them opportunity to like.
But it was at the end. They could have. The thing is, the first one ended off with they're together, and they had the discussion at the dinner table about are we going to do this? We can't do it because the public doesn't like superheroes. Mm-hmm. And then it's like the two people, the business people come and they're just like, we need you, Elastigirl, to make it public like heroes again. I've just feel like the family should still have been together. Like the like losing the mom to doing her own thing. It was like, come on, this is like about the family being a hero together, not just about the spotlight. I know, and that's not to say like Elastigirl was saying, or they were saying that Elastigirl is the best, or they're not trying to. The movie was not in any way, shape, or form classifying who was the best superhero, but it was just more of like they should still have been together for the entire movie. And I know that would have led to some cliche of like, oh, maybe they're not a really good team as a family, maybe they're best on their own. I'm sure that probably would have been like one of the storylines had it gone that route. But I feel like the way the first one ends off with like it's a family thing, to just kidding, it's only mom. Everyone else continue doing whatever you're doing before, and then at the very end, it's kidding again. It's a family thing. Well, they only work best as a family. I'm sure if they did
I get it, but I also like, I think it was good too, because it's like if they did the whole family thing, and I mean, I feel like it worked because we got to see the husband and the kids we're not only seeing them in their superhero light, we're seeing them like just a normal family, and you know, kind of. I mean, you know, they have superheroes, but for a second you can kind of forget that they have superpowers because, you know, it's just a dad helping his son with homework, or trying to get his daughter to like get the confidence to talk to this boy. So it's like you see them doing just normal everyday things, and the characters themselves are so interesting and funny and fun to watch. So it's like I don't need to see them in superhero mode the whole time,
which they don't have to be. I mean, however you write the story, it's how you write the story. Obviously, like you can be creative, but the idea is like only Elastigirl was trying to solve the mystery of the Screen Slayer versus the family together trying to solve. I don't know. I just felt like if it was going to be a family of heroes, it would have been nice for the family to been trying to stop the crime versus just being there at the very end to save the day. Mm-hmm. It would have been nice for them to be like Violet. It would have been like, wait a minute, maybe if we do this, maybe we might find out who the Screen Slayer is.
I mean, I think if superheroes were legal and they were allowed to, then it would have made sense. But because it wasn't legal, and like it was still, you know, because they had that whole debate about breaking, like in the beginning when they were like, so did we do something wrong? And the mom was like, yes, and the dad was like, no. And there was that whole like moral dilemma of like, you know, breaking the law to save the world and that kind of thing. So I think with all of that kind of like, not mess, but like all of those layers added to it, it made sense that they did it like that. Because if it wasn't like that, if superheroes were legal and free to roam and do whatever, then I could totally see the whole film them like kicking butt as a family together, going out fighting crime as a family together. But because they weren't legally allowed to do it and they were trying to like, you know, get the laws changed, it made sense to me that they did it like this.
No, I get it. But I mean, I get it. I'm not saying it's a wrong choice. I'm just, it felt like like it was a misled, because the poster is the family in costume running towards the action, whatever. So like the marketing is that it's a family of superheroes, when it turns out it's more of just a family that has superheroes, but it's mainly about the mom trying to save the day with the dad trying to make sure that the kids, still have their life.
I mean, but in the trailer it shows that the mom's going out. I mean, the trailer's not misleading.
The trailer indicates, yes, that the mom is going out.
Like, it tells you that the mom's and the dad's gonna stay home and take care of the kids.
Yes. I mean, that could be just a portion, but the idea that this wasn't a family saving the day. This was, until the end, this was a family that has superpowers, that mom has gone off to work, and everyone else has to continue on with their lives. it's not, you know, I'm not saying that the path they went is wrong. I'm just saying I would have liked the family to be as a superhero together, because that would have been different too. I mean, all the superheroes that we get nowadays, I mean, we get a lot of superhero movies. A lot of them is about one or maybe two teaming up to save the day. Mm-hmm. When this would have been a family with kids, that would have been a different dynamic as a superhero movie as well.
Yeah. I mean, and they did do it. It's just you're saying they didn't do it as much as you wanted them to.
Exactly. Like Dash and Violet don't get their costumes. They only get the costumes in the beginning and then at the end. Everything else between was no costume.
Yeah. I gotcha. I mean, I'm good with what I got. I don't know, Ruben, do you want to weigh in on this?
No, I mean, no.
No,
okay. Ruben's like, I'm good.
I was good either way. I see what both of you guys are saying. I didn't mind. I think, like you were saying, Donnie, it kind of gave that bit for you to see them in their real life. Yeah.
Okay. Sweet. So Ruben agrees with me. So moving on. No, I was kidding. I'm just kidding. Awesome. No, I totally get what you're saying for sure. What?
I agree. Yeah.
No, I'm saying.
Good too, Oscar.
I'm saying, like, okay, I get it. Like,
nobody agreed with you, but it's okay.
Oh, whatever. Okay, so after all of that, final real score.
Final real score for this one. We didn't even say if it's better than the other one, I guess, but
I wasn't.
Oh, you just okay.
I'll take us there.
Just making sure. Okay, final real score for this one is gonna be I'll say a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
It was
for
definitely
all the reasons. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah, it was definitely a solid film. It's enjoyable and it's definitely great to see these characters come back again, and I really feel like it is a continuation and not like, you know, there's a gap missing where it's kind of like it just doesn't feel right. Something about these characters don't feel. It didn't have that any at all. You know, unfortunately, the villain and the plot was lacking to make it a standout. But the characters it was really nice character development. I feel like this is more of like there is going to be a third one. I feel like there's going to be a third one to conclude it, because it didn't feel like a conclusion to the Incredibles franchise. It just felt like it's the next chapter.
Right.
So that'd be interesting if there is going to be a third one. Watch it be the entire family of superheroes together. Watch it be exactly what I was just complaining about. Or
is this enough for you? Or are they in superhero mode enough for you?
Or if it's going to be like a time gap, then we'll finally be able to catch them up, because we said
we were kind of fan fictioning about like what they could do for.
So yes, but no, yeah, a lot of great positive, very funny. Jack is a standout.
Yeah.
Entertaining. Definitely encourage any families to go see this together. Kids will love it. I can definitely see merchandise being, you know, the summer hot item for families. But yes, definitely a great movie. Just had those little things that I would have preferred to have been better.
Okay. I'm right there with you. I also give it a 4 out of 5. Very solid film. I loved that it picked up right where it left off. Got to know the characters even more. And like you said, Jack was a standout. Got to see him grow into his powers or his abilities. And who knows if he's going to keep some of those or lose them, or, you know.
I don't know. There was some talk. I don't know where the talk is coming from. But the idea is that he is going to lose them as he grows older. I don't know where that's...
Didn't Edna say that?
Was it? I don't know. I guess I must have missed it. But I was just like, where is this coming from that he is going to lose it? Like,
I don't know.
That's very... Because I could understand if, like, maybe that is a natural thing that babies get. Like, Dash and Violet had so many powers and they just became one.
Right. Just, like, focused in on one, maybe.
But, yeah, I don't know. It just, like, there was some, like, conversations going on, like, the internet. It was just, like... Well, he's only going to be able to keep one, blah, blah, blah. And
like, okay. So people are saying that.
It's like a discussion about, like, because it's kind of in the same way how a baby, like, changes and loses some abilities too, you know, in the same way that we still, you know, we start off fine and then we start slowly becoming allergic to things, or, you know, just kind of like that natural development. So,
okay.
But anyways, continue. Sorry. You had just mentioned his, like, multiple
Yeah.
powers.
No, it's okay. No, I was just saying... he was a standout. Definitely my favorite scene was probably him and the raccoon fighting it out in the backyard. That was just... and I think that was probably a lot of people's favorite scene. But, yeah, I thought it was great. I liked all the, you know, little story arcs. And The motivation of the villain kind of threw me off, and how she just was able to, or how she tried to put all the blame on superheroes, and her whole, just reasoning for it, that kind of threw me off. But I mean, it was great. I loved it. It was. Oh, I will say, I had mentioned this to both of you guys. I felt like it was getting a little adult rated. They said, so they did say damn. They said hell in the film. Frozone said, what the
the standard, like, about a curse.
And then they were like, Elastigirl and the sister, the villain, they were like sipping on drinks. Like, so I'm like, all right. It's a kid's film. That was, kind of my thought. It doesn't bother me or anything. I mean, it kind of, I just feel like I can see some parents, maybe some more conservative parents taking their children and getting a little bothered that they had some of those things in the film. That's supposed to be a kid's film.
I haven't heard any of that kind of talk online.
Yeah. I did.
You did?
No, I didn't. I'm just kidding.
Wow. I was like, nice.
But, that's it. Other than that, it was a solid film. I would watch it again. It was funny, entertaining. I'd encourage everyone to go see it. And even if you and I went and saw it. We do a podcast on movies, but even if we weren't doing this podcast, we would still go see it because, it's Disney Pixar and they do great films. Even if you're a little kid or if you're a senior citizen, I think you're going to get something from it.
But Donnie would like to strongly advise parental
guidance for Shay suggested.
For strong language.
Have a talk with your child maybe before you go see the film. Explain to them, have a sit down. So to answer this question that I threw out at the beginning of the episode, Oscar, which Incredibles film did you like more, the first one or the second one?
In all the talk about the second one, the first one. In all that I was elaborating on the second one, I really do like the first one just because of the way it is set up, where, the superheroes do get banned, and it's like they were trying to have an ordinary life. It's tempting to go back to that world, and now you get your family involved in it, but your families all have superpowers, so it makes sense to be in it. And then you have a villain who was shunned from being a superhero, and told to go home, and you couldn't do it. Kind of like resonates with, like, don't let someone tell you what you can or can't do, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think it really delivered a lot of strong themes that the second one didn't have many of, or wasn't executed well.
Okay. I actually did like the second one more. That's all I'm going to say. No, I'm just kidding.
Which is fine.
No, I liked, I feel like the first one, yes, absolutely. Everything you said about the first one was right, and it set it up great, and it did have those themes. The second one, I just feel like it was a more modern day approach to, like, looking at like how a family functions and operates. And even though, it is very much like, I like that they had the mom go off, and how, the mom went off to kind of be the face for, like, superheroes everywhere. And even in the scene when she was, trying to slow down the runaway train or something, the runaway
the monorail-ish,
whatever thing. And Dash called and was like, hey mom, can you something? And she's like, I'm a little busy right now. Like, I'll talk to you later. Like, I liked that scene because I feel like it's like, regardless of if she's a superhero or she's worked like a nurse at a hospital, like, that does happen. Like, you get, your mom, like, your parents working hard at work, and then they, like, you're getting calls from your kids like, hey mom, I need this, where are my socks at? So, like, I feel like this film had kind of like a more, like, it wasn't so much like, oh, this is a superhero family, as much as this is like a family that has superpowers, and, like, they are, superheroes, but they're also at the heart of it, they are a family, and they function just like a family and have fights like a family. And so I really just, I don't know, that whole, I guess, aspect, like, I connected with.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Ruben, do you have a favorite, one or two?
My favorite would be 2. I think it just showed me everything I wanted to see from the first one, I saw in the second one. So all the things I wanted more of, I got. So I got more of the baby and the mode, and then their cool house, and just, it was
that
cool.
was a really nice house.
Yeah.
I feel like I got everything I wanted, which is good. Yeah. I left satisfied. Oh, and I was gonna mention when you were saying about the adult stuff. Remember that little girl with the dress with the sign? When the mom,
oh yeah,
that was so freaky.
What did it say?
It said like Slayer's still out there. Or
yeah,
something
yeah.
Like that. I was like, and they never addressed her again. They never talked about the little girl ever again.
I see what
and that was the creepiest thing. I was like, what the heck? Like, no.
Yeah, no, that was creepy for sure. I totally forgot about that too. Awesome. Well, listeners, we definitely want to know your thoughts on what you thought of Incredibles 2. Do you like it more than the first one? Not as much as the first one? Let us know. Favorite characters, favorite scenes, anything. Just reach out to us. We're here on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah, if you need a shoulder to cry on, we're a good listener.
What are we offering?
We're offering yeah.
Okay. Just didn't know. I felt like we were advertising something else. Do you need a friend? Call now.
Why not?
I mean, I guess we have time to get calls for friendships. I didn't know. That's why I wasn't aware of what we were selling.
Wow. I guess you're not calling in for Oscar. Just calling for Donnie.
You guys can call me. It's all right. My number 707.
Nope.
So write that down. I know. Oh, I think that was a 2. Rewind that.
What would you do if you do get a call? Like, you just get like, hi, so I listened to the Reel podcast and I got your number from the...
I would think it's a prank call and I would be like, Oscar set you up. That's what would be my first thought.
Dang.
Sounds like something... Well, no, you wouldn't. You're not really like a prankster.
Not to be like, oh, call him on this number. Tell him you've heard.
How about this, listeners? If you want to reach out to us, let's start with social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Team Reel-ists, and you can find us there. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Any last words, Oscar?
About the movie or about a podcast?
About anything. I don't know. Just any last words.
Well, yes. I actually have plenty of things. Just kidding. No, I do not. I am good. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it.
Yes,
hopefully you guys,
as
always.
Of course. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.